Good evening, everybody. Come on, you can have more enthusiasm than that. Good evening, everybody. All right, nice job. I kind of walk around a lot. I don't know if I can stay behind here, so I won't make any promises. I'll try. We'll see if it works. As Diane said, this is a community project, and if you're going to hear anything tonight, that's if you leave, hopefully leave with a lot of information, but realize this is a community issue. I won't say it's a problem. I think it is a community issue, though, and it's something that we all have to deal with together. It's not specifically a code enforcement problem, not specifically a law enforcement problem, not specifically a realty problem, but it is a community problem, and that's why we're all sitting up here today trying to get ahead of the curve. And if you've been watching the news, this is nothing new over the last year across the country. And I will tell you, I'm pretty proud because when we started looking into it a year ago, actually longer than that, almost 18 months ago, there was nothing out there that anybody in the nation was really doing, to be honest with you. Everybody stuck their heads in the sand, and I don't think anybody really expected to have the issue of foreclosures at the rate that they had come in really hit a community, specifically across the country, and we are now dealing with it. And the only way for us to really stabilize it and move forward is together work on it as a community. So that's my soapbox with that. So what the concept was with the Sheriff's Office, we deal mostly with a reactive, okay? Calls come in, so forth. We realize we need to be more proactive on this issue. So that's why we work together with the steering committee, with everybody you see up here. Our issue, though, was to develop community safety teams, the caretaking initiative. And that goes back to the roots of community policing. And that's developing these task force that you heard Diane talk about, of where we can get set up in each community, of where we can go out, identify those homes that we believe are going to be a health, safety, and welfare concern. Now, believe me, not all foreclosed homes, and that's what I've been striving. Everybody thinks, oh, the numbers come in, and I don't know what the most recent number, but there's thousands.
Working now.
Is it working? Okay, perfect. As you can see, some of the numbers, if anybody could see that, of what we were dealing with between 1999 and 2005, 240 a year. Then also, in 2007, we jumped completely up to approximately 3,200. And as of July 31st, we had almost 1,700. That's a big, big jump. Something that this county, this nation had never seen before. And we had to realize we have an issue, because with foreclosed homes comes the potential, okay, of a possibility of a health, safety, and welfare nexus. And what do I mean by that? It goes back, anybody hear of the broken windows theory? It's a very simple concept. And what it builds on is, if you have a house, hypothetically, and it's vacant in a home, in a neighborhood, even a warehouse, a building, anything like that, it's intact, community's clean, no trash around it, things are good. Okay, one day somebody walks by, throws a rock through that window. Nobody fixes that window. Next day, some people walk by, they go, oh, broken window. They spray paint the side of the building. Nobody fixes that. Next day, some other people come by. They go through the broken window. Now they're inside the warehouse or the house. And they start doing criminal activity, whether that's being truant, whether that's trespassing, whether that's a meth lab, whether that's a grow house, so forth. I think everybody's getting the idea now. The point being, if you let the smallest of issues grow, they grow from a little problem into a big issue. And that's what we didn't want to occur with foreclosed homes in this community. That's why we are working together currently with the realtors, with code enforcement, with everybody you see up here, and with you, because you are our eyes and ears. The community is our eyes and ears, and I'm going to get to some numbers later on. If you're in a house and your neighbor up one night you see a van pull in, and this has happened hundreds if not thousands of times over the last year, and they're gone tomorrow. Tomorrow morning you wake up and your neighbors are no longer there. Okay? Nobody knows what's occurring. Nobody knows what's happened. You have to let us know. Don't let us know if they're moving. That's not so much an issue at that point. But if a month down the road, all of a sudden you see some strange vehicles pulling into that house, or you see some kids crawling through a window, hanging out in that location, or you see people that you've never seen before, call us. Let us come, make contact with those individuals, and find out what they are doing, why they are there. But we won't know. I wish I could tell you I had a deputy at every house in this community. It doesn't work that way. The only way we can really be proactive in this issue is with the help of the community. And that's calling in. Yes, sir?
Is there a central number that one?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that. We actually have a regular tips hotline. I'll give you the general number to call in. It'll all be up here. And one way or another, one of those numbers will get us there. Okay? How do we move that, Jeff? Oh, you're working. Hey, I didn't know I had something working. Outstanding. Thank you. These are some of the concerns. I didn't know it was one of his many talents, IT. Now I know. Okay, obviously the vacant houses. Economic downturn. How are we going to get through this with Collier County? We are going to have to help our own community get through this. It's that simple. And do you think if all of a sudden we start having criminal activity within these houses, and let's say 3 or 4 of the houses on the same street become a health, safety, and welfare concern, and people are trying to sell it, and you're living on that street, is that going to be an issue? Yeah. You bet it is. Do you think people, and it's as simple as, let's say, oh, the window's broken, just board it up. Do you think trying to sell that house, a big piece of plywood on that window, is that going to be a problem for a realtor? I know we got some realtors in here. That's an issue. Definitely an issue. So those are things that we have to work on through code, through the sheriff's office. We're trying to be very inventive here in this process. Like I said, there was no template out there. And you have to understand, the county is tied with the budget. We're in budget cutbacks right now. We understand that, everybody. But also understand there's only a certain amount of money that they are allocated annually. If I speak out of turn, this is your house. But I want to defend you because most people don't understand this. It's a very small amount of money that's allocated to go in there to board up homes, to mow grass, to remove garbage, to drain pools. Pools are a big issue in Florida, if you haven't realized that. People up and leave, all of a sudden, no one's running electricity at that house. There's problems. You can imagine what that pool's going to turn into. You can imagine the mold inside that house. These are all ongoing issues, and their pot is very limited in what corrective action they can do, what they're allocated. Because, yeah, they can put a lien on that house, but if that house is in foreclosure and it takes 18 to 24 months, as we all know, anybody that's familiar with the process, they don't recover their funds in that amount of time. So it sounds good to put a lien on a house, but there's some other things that we have to do, hopefully, to prevent that from getting to that stage. This is just one example of what we talked about. There's some more. I apologize for the lighting. That was one house where truancy and criminal acts, they went inside, tore it all up, spray painted the inside. Next, please. There's some more you can see of what they did inside. Some more. Next. Okay.
That's what I got.
Yes. Perfect. Actually, you can leave it there. Those are all examples of what we're dealing with, and we worked hand in hand. And how we've been dealing with code enforcement through the task force, through Diane, and through a lot of others that are members of that is, like I said, not all foreclosed vacant homes are a concern. 99% of the homes we leave here tonight, I don't want you to think the sky's falling, because it's not. We have a great community. We're very fortunate in the ownership that everybody takes in this community. But there is that 1% that we need people to call in and let us know, because we need to correct those problems immediately so they don't escalate and they don't grow out of control. And we identify what we call the 30 in the community. And people go, oh, well, we have thousands, 30. Once again, it's a small percentage. And we replace those weekly, monthly, whatever the case may be. As one comes in, something like that, we immediately get with the county, we get with the resources we have, making contact with the owners, the banks, whatever the case may be, to correct that. And as soon as that one is corrected, we take it off the list and replace it with the next most important issue. Like I said, health, safety, and welfare is our nexus. That's what we are really trying to do on the reactive side of things. But there are a lot of things that you're going to hear later on after I get done talking and you're bored with me, is the preventive, the proactive effort that we need to do in order to prevent this from